When I went up the mountain, the Creator didn't ask me if I was Indian. Didn't ask me if I was white. It heard my call, and it answered my call.
When I first heard some of the Native American teachings, I remember weeping, talking about all things being connected, as I understand it, and that what you take, you must give back.
There's a lot of people out there getting involved, interested in shamanism, curious about shamanism, and so the idea was to provide some sort of base for the white culture.
I can treat my products with respect. I can know who the artist is, but if someone buys it that doesn't want to use it respectfully, that's not my responsibility.
I'm called to do speaking engagements all over the country on this wisdom, so as the person becomes more popular, they can't really do what they want. This is really my love, to be here with these Native American people.
And the Church of Loving Hands is a church of natural healing in medicine ways. And our primary tenet is to facilitate individual spiritual expression in all daily activities of life.
You can always tell a white person when they give the Indian name. It's always these Hollywood type of names, you know, Rolling Thunder or Swift Deer or yeah, you can always tell that kind of stuff, and they're always English names, so to speak. I think that's ridiculous because they don't know the reason why they have names. They don't have naming ceremonies.
The name come to me when I was writing something about my grandmother. And I kept thinking about other names, other things, and everything. And this little voice said, "Nope, you are a Windsetter."
Those people, Brooke Medicine Eagle, Jim Silver Eagle, why don't they pick up a name like Bloody Guts? Something, you know, that doesn't have that ring of power and spirituality.
My name is Skyhawk Oyela. My Anglo-Saxon name is Rosalind, and I'm a Métis medicine woman of Blackfoot and Ojibwa heritage.
I got my name on my vision quest, and I felt firm. This is my name. I knew I heard it. It felt right. It resonated in my being, and no one can take that from me. People can mock it if they want. People can, do whatever they wish with it, but I feel it in my being, and that describes who I am.
But the Indian name comes from a very honored place and a very special, like a family carrying on its tradition through its name, Those are treated with great respect and honor. We don't just pluck names out of somewhere,
Great Spirit, pure our hearts. Let our voices express our joy and our connectedness here as one people at one fire. Ho!
I was an Indian in the previous life. Well, you're white now. Yeah, these guys in the previous life, they always were kings or queens. Or I used to be the Duchess of Earl when I was... I never met a guy... I worked at Standard Oil when I was in the previous life. I swept up the toilet. It's always this kind of stuff.
A medicine man could be viewed by his own tribe as one of the most powerful sources of inspiration, revelation, and healing. But the assumption would be if he was wearing a three-piece suit and carrying a briefcase, he probably would be dismissed by the outsiders. This is not the case within the tribe. Within the tribe, material goods often do not play a part in how we assess and treat each other and hold each other in respect. So the case of the plastic shaman, if you may, then is very close to the pretend Indian. Both operate off a list of symbols, and they are more concerned with the arrangement of these symbols and the display of these symbols than they are with the content and context behind these symbols.
People keep thinking that what we do is Indian spirituality. You know, certainly the circle and the drum is a common human heritage, and yet somehow people see that as being Indian. And so I think that's a lot of what we're getting from the Center for the Spirit and J.C. Eaglesmith and other people that attack us who don't really know what we do. They haven't really experienced it.
The heart of it is 3 days and nights fasting, and we do use the medicine wheel as a metaphor, but other than that, I have to tell you honestly, I don't know how Native Americans do lead Vision Quest other than stories I've heard. I haven't experienced it.
Male and female. These twin flames represent the balance that we all seek within ourselves and without. May this be brought in with us tonight.
What this replication of Indians' ceremony points out to me are two things. Number one, there's a spiritual vacuum that this society that we live in, it creates people that are looking for something that's real. And secondly, and sadly, sometimes they get Native Americans involved in teaching them these things. But that points out the poverty and lack of opportunity on Indian land. People are so frustrated and desperate that they'll do anything for money.
Most of these people would read a few books and get fascinated with it and interested in it because they had a hunger for the spiritual connection to nature, which I think has been missing in the Western traditions for a long time. The idea was to give some sort of real basis, real content, so people could know how to proceed.
I spent years as a child going to all the different churches because I was drawn to the ritual and the ceremony. But none of them fit for me. None of them were right. The church that I loved, that was in my heart from the time I came in here, was the Mother Earth. This is my cathedral. This is my church. It's always been that way for me, and it will always be that way.
You know, they can build a sweat house and they can go in, they can learn the song. But it's fake. And if you believe in a higher power, grandfather, Tupia, whatever you want to call him, he knows that.
The sweat lodge, it looks traditional, and but what we do inside isn't exactly what I've seen Native Americans do inside. It has the same essence, it has a different form, and that's been a lot of my council's working on developing our own form. It's real important for us, for people to know that we're not white people trying to be Native American.
I suspect suspect that a lot of pan-Indian shamanism conducted by non-Indians is strictly based on visits to Indian reservations and reserves during the summertime, when often powwows, which are not religious ceremonies, total secular, commercialized, very close to the rodeo, often people come and see those. When they see the pageantry and they see the genuine bonding amongst Indian people, that part is authentic and that part is real, coming together once a summer in a large encampment so you can meet people and visit old friends and relations and things like that. That is often misconstrued, I believe, to be a religious event.
I don't think you have to adopt a culture to show your respect. If you're interested in the culture and you want to know more about it, you go to the source, go to the people. And the people will tell you as much as they're allowed to tell you. And you get to know the culture. Then you start to respect. You understand it, you respect it.
They're in areas where they don't belong, because in order to be an Indian spiritual leader, you have to be born and raised that way. It doesn't come from a book, and it doesn't come from a couple fast lessons on the weekend or whatever, and they can't have that. They aren't able to have that.
You look in those books and there's a vision quest in 3 days, and we all sit there and say, we don't do it in a year sometimes. Learn how to build a sweat lodge in a weekend. It took me 2 years, and a lot of stumbling. We didn't offer that to the public for years, and it's because we knew we didn't have it down yet. It wasn't right yet.
One of the things I've been told is that you can have the pipe, but it is not empowered without the teachings. And that the teachings that go with religion, tribal religions, often have this long association from the beginning, the genesis of the tribe, up until the present day.
Even though a lot of the people getting involved in these ways and sometimes picking up shamanic activities may not have the shamanic background, but they may have gone through a great deal of other experiences, life experiences, that may have prepped them in a certain way.
The sweat lodge I was taught and given, and I had to earn the right to do the sweat lodge. I had to earn the right by doing it all, learning the fire, learning the ways of the lodge. So I earned that right over the years.
The fact that spirituality has evolved for thousands and thousands of years here, to take it so casually and think that people can stroll in and in a matter of weeks or months or years understand something that has been a burden and responsibility as well as a gift and a privilege from our elders who were given it by their ancestors, who were given this sense of understanding from their ancestors still. A month, a year, 5 years, what is that?
Your birth date falls in the realm of you are a raven. Your spirit keeper is Mujikiwis. Mujikiwis translates in the English from Lakota is grizzly bear. So I take this general information and we do research on your birth date. And then from that information we get on your birth date, not one tribe, but a culmination of lots of different beliefs and different tribe beliefs. And we take that information, we write a book about you. When your book is finished,
I think people like Lynn Andrews and Carlos Castaneda and Jamaki Highwater and Swift Deer and Rolling Thunder and all these people, they've taken advantage of the ignorant public. I think some people generally want to know things. They really do, but these other people, they have the white power and privilege to do these things, so they go around and do that. They always seem to make a lot of money behind all this.
There's fees The fees cover our cost. We don't make anything. We don't have our nonprofit from the government yet, but everything here at Earthwalkers is nonprofit. It works. I think that's the big thing we want to share is this way works. There's a way to do it in honor, reverence, and respect.
Once again, it's taking what's sacred and making it profane. It reminds me of how I would respond if someone asked me what price I would set on my grandmother or grandfather. How can you sell something that has to do with your very survival?
I have a problem in the fact that we're using buying and selling in somewhat of a derogatory way, when in fact buying and selling is a reciprocal aspect that happened hundreds of years ago, but it might have happened with shells. Money is an exchange form. It always has been. We're trading. It isn't necessarily bad just because you sell something.
They have only seen the profit side. I've heard people where they charge anywhere from $50 to $100 to take you into a sweat lodge, which to me is very hurtful to the ancestors who looked at the sweat lodge as a place of sacredness.
You know, when somebody is trying to teach you something, and if the message is real, it shouldn't cost you anything. That learning is free. That sharing is free. And if there's somebody that's going to sell you a sweat lodge or sell you a ceremony, well, that simply violates the spirit of that very act. It's like somebody trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. It can't be done. And it's the same with Indian ceremonies. It just simply can't be done.
The elders are very private about our religion and our spirituality. And it's my sense that those that know don't say, and those that say don't know. Some of the New Age people that come in and have appropriated tribal spirituality have no clue. They're clueless about what this means to tribal elders.
It's not something that you boast about. It's not something that you go out and put a show on so that you can impress those other people that don't understand. That does not give you strength, it takes strength from you.
And we really feel the importance of sharing those sacred things. It's what our world needs. It's what our culture needs to bring healing. If our culture stays, that Western culture stays the way it is, and with people thinking the way they do, then we're heading, just straight for disaster.
And we're all going to die in that.
Yeah. We really feel how much it's healed us and how much it helps us to heal with our world. We really feel called to share that with anyone who will hear it and feel it in their heart.
One people, one fire.
We give this to you, Creator.
A proselytizing religion that seeks its survival via membership, by bringing in people that never had any connection to that religion. In order for that religion to survive, it must proselytize and it must attract members to it. One of the ways of attracting membership is with a great deal of pageantry, a great deal of extended symbol, a great deal of promise that symbols will reveal inner truth. This does not happen in tribal religions.
And part of using it means giving it away to your world. And that's been part of our growth here at Earthwalkers, is figuring out what our part in the world is. And that has brought us out into a larger community than just our own small circle. And our dream, our vision is that this is eventually going to encompass the globe and include all people.
We want to educate people about Native American issues. We want to educate the American public or the United States citizens about their complicity in what has happened and what is continuing to happen to Native American communities in the name of their government. And the message that we share with the public is a message that is a spiritual message, that in fact we all have a responsibility to the earth, that we all have a responsibility to our children and grandchildren and future generations, no matter what race or culture or ethnicity or where we're coming from. But we're absolutely not trying to proselytize. We're not trying to get people to be practitioners of Native American religion. We're not trying to get them to adopt our ways.
I've spent all my life being a bridge maker. My weapon is education and communication, so people will have understanding. Once people have understanding, then they can act in a good way. They can act with balance in their lives. My path on the Mother Earth is a bringer of light, a light bearer, that's it.
How godly of someone to know what it is that's right spiritually for other people. That's that whole missionary proselytizing ethic. Come to me, I have what you need, and bring me your money. That's the antithesis of tribal spirituality.
I think the best thing to do is get a bunch of Indian folks to go to their things and just everybody start laughing everything they say and do. That'll, you know, when you ridicule the enemy, he's totally powerless.
You know, when you go for this New Age stuff, it's like you're trying to make the wound seem like it's okay on top, when in fact the wound needs to be lanced down to the quick, down to the living skin, down to where it hurts, at a place where healing can start to take place. But in order to remove that cancer, we have to establish relationships with each other that are built upon respect for these ancient cultures.
We laugh at you. We tolerate you and we laugh at you. I guess we're too polite to say get out of our face.
Each one of them should be exploring their background, you know, before their ancestors came from across the ocean. They should go over there and learn their own ways and practice them, you know.
In my culture, it's always been taught to me that you don't respect, you don't show respect, you don't treat things properly. In the end, it comes back on you. In the end, it will hurt and destroy you in some way. And I believe that the punishment, whether it be today, tomorrow, or somewhere down the line, will come back on you.
Somewhere in the Black Hills, an old man stands, praying from his heart with a pipe in his hand. He's heard the stories of the Hollywood medicine man who sells the sacred pipe to the white man. They killed our people, then they took our land. Now they're buying our religion. This is more than we can stand. Our religion is not for sale.